Hey, what is going on, Twintendo Nation? Hope you're having an awesome day. Recently, over the weekend, we got a new Pokemon Sword and Shield rumour. Honestly, I'll be real with you guys. This could go either way. I'm not too sure what to think about this. There's a lot on this rumour that I think could be true, and a lot of it that I'm a bit unsure about, but because rumours have been pretty much, a lot of them have been spot on about a lot of things we've seen so far in Pokemon Sword and Shield, I thought I'd just cover it just for a bit of fun. Doesn't matter if it's going to be true or not. In my opinion, it'd just be nice to discuss a few things. So if you do enjoy today's video, of course make sure to hit the like button down below. If you want to stay up to date with everything Pokemon Sword and Shield, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. So starting off with this rumour, it was posted on 4chan. Obviously you guys can see on the screen what this rumour looks like, and so we're going to go over like the basic stuff. So 97 new Pokemon. That's a lot of new Pokemon. Honestly, it doesn't sound like a lot because it's under 100, but compared to like the last two generations, that's pretty good. We've normally not got close to 100, and unless you include like different forms, maybe this one does as well. Maybe this includes Galarian forms as well. But 97 new Pokemon, I'm pretty happy with that. 7 of those new Pokemon are legendaries and mythicals. So obviously, we know about 2 of them at least, with Zacian and Zamazenta. There's a big rumour about Eternatus, which is like the 3rd legendary, and we don't really know anything about the mythicals. Whether there's going to be, you know, a legendary trio, but it sounds of it probably not. And in my legendary trio, I don't mean the main 3. I mean like, you know, like your Regis and your legendary beasts, stuff like that. It doesn't sound like we're going to get that. But anyway, over 500 older Pokemon are in the Pokédex, which essentially means that's around 300 to 400 Pokemon cut, which is quite a lot. I was actually hoping for a bit more Pokemon to be in this game, but to be honest, that is probably the most realistic amount we could probably get, which is disappointing, but it is what it is. There's only Kanto, Johto, and Sinnoh starters are back. That is surprising. Honestly, Mudkip being my favourite Pokemon, I'm very disappointed if that's the case. I always thought that when they were bringing, you know, all the when they weren't bringing all the Pokemon back, that I thought at least probably all the starters would get in because they're, you know, some of the most popular Pokemon, and all the legendaries because, again, some of the most popular Pokemon. Now, Kanto is just a given, unfortunately, because Kanto is the most loved generation, at least by Game Freak. Johto, I guess that makes sense because they kind of had, they never got Mega Evolutions. That kind of got skipped for them, so maybe that's why. I'm not sure if they're going to get other forms or not. And then Sinnoh starters. We all know that Pokemon Diamond and Pearl are next for remakes, and it just would make a lot of sense to just focus a bit more on Generation 4 than the other generations. But again, that is disappointing that not all starters are back. Eevee doesn't get a new evolution. I think I actually agree with this. And not that I would like a new Eeveelution for sure. But the longer this has gone on, I actually thought an Eeveelution would have been revealed by now. I don't think they'd go into a new Pokemon game without revealing a new Eeveelution, because I know that would get a lot of buzz. I don't know why they've not. If they have got an Eeveelution ready, I'd be very surprised that we're just gonna like get Sword and Shield on release date and find out there's a new Eeveelution. For me, I think that's pretty much, unfortunately, correct. But again, just because this, you know, rumor, states that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. But that's just my gut feeling that there is no new Eeveelution as well. So some legendary Pokemon are in, like starters. I was mentioning legendaries are some of the most popular. Johto, main 2 Pokemon, so obviously Ho-Oh and Lugia. I'm happy with that. Lugia is one of my favourite. The Ho and Weather trio, again happy with that. Groudon, Kyogre, Rayquaza, however you want to say it. One of my favourite Pokemon. I just love that trio as well, so that's good. Universe main 3, so Sinnohs are actually skipped, which that makes a lot of sense, especially since they're saving. We've got the Diamond and Pearl remix coming up. Assuming that, and I think that's pretty much going to happen. And they obviously said that a lot of the Pokemon that don't appear in Pokemon Sword and Shield will appear in the next Pokemon main series game, which most likely is going to be Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remix. So that makes a lot of sense that the main legendaries from those games are absent in this one, so they'll be, you know, the focal point of the Diamond and Pearl remix. Maybe that's just an educated guess by whoever's written this, but that does make sense to me. And by the way, I forgot to mention, this was posted on the 23rd of September, which is obviously quite a long time ago. That's like 2 weeks ago now, and it predicted a few things that we've seen recently. So Galarian forms, this is kind of like the main stuff. Farfetch'd becomes pure fighting and it's exclusive to Sword, evolves into Surfetch'd. So for those wondering, Surfetch'd was officially revealed on the 18th of September. This was posted 5 days later. I don't think they're basically claiming, you know, this is Surfetch'd, it's going to be a new Pokemon. I think what they're claiming is that that is the Sword exclusive, because they talk about the Shield exclusive Pokemon next, which is Chatot, and it becomes Ghost Flying, and it's exclusive to Shield, as I mentioned. Evolves into a bigger parrot called Chataunt. Interesting stuff. Again, I was kind of surprised we get a bird and a bird in terms of Sword and Shield. They're both exclusives, a bird Pokemon, you know. But I guess that makes sense. Chataunt definitely needs a new evolution, so I'd be happy with that. And again, it's a Generation 4 Pokemon, maybe getting a bit more focus on that, because the next one they mention is another Generation 4, and it says Luxio line, which is kind of interesting. That is, they mentioned Luxio and not Shinx or Luxray, but it becomes Dark and Ground. We always thought Luxray should have been Dark and Electric. Dark and Ground is interesting. We'll go back onto this subject in a second as to why this could be, but I am a bit interested as to why Luxio line. Does it go Shinx, Luxio, and then a new evolution? Or is it just meaning Shinx, Luxio, and Luxray? I just kind of find it weird that you mention the middle evolution rather than either the Shinx evolution line or the Luxray evolution line. Anyway, I'm sure I'm not the only one who finds that a bit weird, but anyway, they mention next, and this is the key one. The Ponyta line becomes Pure Fairy, Rapidash evolves into an Alicorn. We'll get back to the Alicorn. But yeah, this was posted probably about 10 days before, or 10 or 11 days before, you know, the Galarian Ponyta was teased in that live stream, that 24-hour live stream. Although we technically not got official confirmation as to what Galarian Ponyta, for one, is, you know, a legitimate thing, but I'm pretty sure it is. And whether it's fairy type or not, it looks incredibly like a fairy type. This is probably the most convincing thing we've had on this rumored post. Honestly, I'm not, like I said at the start of this video, I'm not 100% on this rumor, but this definitely gives it some basis. And if you guys want to know what an Alicorn is, that's basically a winged unicorn, so think of like a Pegasus, and then it also, you know, has a horn of a unicorn. That's what Rapidash or Galarian Rapidash will look like. And then next up is the Pawniard line, so you know, Pawniard and Bisharp, that becomes Psychic Fighting, which is very different, because obviously when you think of Pawniard and Bisharp, they're very like metallic, you know, looking Pokemon, and that's because they're steel types. So this is kind of interesting. I couldn't imagine them psychic fighting. And then Girafarig becomes Dark and Psychic, which has actually been long rumoured about, even when Surfetched had kind of been rumoured about months and months and months ago. Essentially what Galarian Girafarig's going to be is the tail end of Girafarig takes control of the body, and that's why it becomes a Dark Psychic type. So that is pretty interesting, but let's go into a bit more detail about these Galarian forms and why, you know, what is the actual basis behind them. There's actually a bit more evidence that might support that this is actually legitimate and true. So I want to go back to the Luxio line quickly and talk about why this might be Dark Ground. So thinking back to Alolan evolutions, we know that Cubone could evolve into Alolan Marowak, so it doesn't have to be, you know, one Pokemon doesn't have to be like a Galarian form to change into that. So it could be just a normal Shinx, and then it changes into this ground Dark Luxio. Maybe that's why they mentioned the Luxio line. Or it could just be Shinx starts off as a ground type, and then it evolves into the ground Dark type, which obviously kind of stays with Luxio and then Luxray. But why would, you know, Luxio and Luxray, and maybe even Shinx, be ground Dark type? Why would that make sense? So for those who don't know, Lux in Latin means light, which is assuming where Luxio gets its name from. You know, connected to lightning and just electric, it's, you know, that makes quite a bit of sense. But it's also a reason why ground might make a lot of sense for Luxio and, you know, that line as well. So in Egypt there is a famous avenue of sphinxes, and obviously, you know, Shinx is a cat-like Pokemon. Maybe that's where it kind of gets its name from in terms of Sphinx and Shinx. But that's beside the point. There is a place in Egypt, in Karnak Temple, which is located in Luxor, and this is basically where all the sphinxes are, and again, it kind of shares that same similarity. This is probably like clutching at straws a bit, but you know, Shinx and Sphinx share similar names. A place where, you know, a lot of sphinxes are located is in a place called Luxor. Could be just coincidence, but maybe Game Freak have looked at that and designed, you know, a Luxio, Shinx, Luxray line around sphinxes, which would be kind of interesting. Obviously we'll have to wait and see if that is true or not. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I've had a look through other things. Obviously we know that Girafarig has been mentioned a few times. We know that, you know, Galarian Ponyta will probably be confirmed any day now. Some good things on this list, in my opinion, with Galarian forms. Some disappointing things, like the lack of Pokemon, obviously, and the lack of starters. I really wanted every single starter to be in this game. Don't look like that's going to be the case. But guys, let me know what you thought the most interesting rumour was from this post, and if you want to stay up to date with everything Pokemon Sword and Shield, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below to become a part of the Twintendo Nation, and of course guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button down below. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you on the next video. Peace!